What if the relationship you're fighting so hard to save is the very thing quietly draining your soul? What if the pain you call love is actually attachment, fear, an unconscious habit wrapped in emotional dependency? So many people stay in toxic relationships not because they are weak, but because they are spiritually unaware of what is really happening inside them. And this is exactly where the wisdom of Paramahansa Yogananda becomes life-changing. He taught that suffering does not come from other people. It comes from the false belief that our happiness depends on them. The moment you believe someone else controls your peace, you hand over your spiritual power. A toxic relationship is not just about arguments, manipulation, or emotional neglect. At a deeper level, it is a spiritual misalignment. Yogananda explained that every soul is seeking divine love, but when we do not feel connected to that higher source, we begin to demand from human beings what only God can provide. We expect constant validation, security, identity, and unconditional love from imperfect people. And when they fail, we feel betrayed, abandoned, or unworthy. The real problem is not the person, it is the inner emptiness we are trying to fill. He often said that attachment is the greatest cause of suffering. Attachment is not love. Love is freeing. Attachment is fear disguised as love. When you say, "I can't live without this person," what you are really saying is, "I have not discovered the strength of my own soul." Toxic relationships thrive on this fear. One person manipulates, the other clings. One controls, the other sacrifices self-respect. And both remain spiritually asleep. So how do you break free without becoming bitter, angry, or emotionally numb? Yogananda's answer was always the same. Strengthen your inner connection first. When your joy comes from within, you stop tolerating what diminishes you. He taught daily meditation not as an escape, but as a way of remembering who you truly are. When you sit in stillness and feel even a small touch of inner peace, something shifts. You realize you are more than someone's partner, more than someone's approval, more than someone's emotional punching bag. You are a soul. Toxic dynamics lose their power when you stop reacting unconsciously. Most unhealthy relationships are fueled by emotional reactivity. One harsh word triggers childhood wounds. One moment of silence triggers abandonment fears. Yogananda encouraged self-observation without judgment. Instead of asking, "Why is this person doing this to me?" ask, "Why does this trigger me so deeply?" This question is empowering. It moves you from victimhood to awareness. Awareness dissolves unconscious patterns. He also emphasized the law of magnetism. We attract into our lives conditions that match our inner vibration. This is not about blame. It is about growth. If you repeatedly find yourself in toxic relationships, it is an invitation to heal something within. Maybe it is low self-worth. Maybe it is fear of loneliness. Maybe it is the belief that love must be earned through suffering. When you heal these inner beliefs, your outer relationships naturally change. One of Yogananda's most practical teachings was the importance of calm strength. He did not teach passivity. He taught inner dignity. If someone disrespects you, you do not need to shout or collapse. You calmly state your boundary. If they continue, you quietly withdraw your energy. Strength does not mean aggression. It means self-respect. Toxic people often test boundaries because they sense weakness. When they encounter steady calmness, the dynamic shifts. Forgiveness is also essential, but not in the way most people misunderstand it. Forgiveness does not mean allowing continued abuse. It means releasing hatred from your own heart. Yogananda explained that holding resentment ties you energetically to the very person you are trying to escape. You can walk away physically but still remain emotionally chained through anger. True freedom is inner release. You forgive for your peace, not for their comfort. Another powerful truth he shared is that loneliness is often a spiritual detox. When you step out of a toxic relationship, there may be a period of emptiness. Instead of rushing to fill it with another person, sit with it. Grow in it. Discover what you ignored while you were distracted by emotional drama. Develop your talents. Reconnect with your purpose. Deepen your spiritual practice. What feels like loss may actually be divine protection. Yogananda constantly reminded his students that you are never alone. The divine presence within you is more constant than any human relationship. When you truly feel that companionship, desperation fades. You stop chasing unhealthy bonds because you no longer feel incomplete. And when you no longer feel incomplete, you begin attracting relationships rooted in mutual respect, spiritual growth, and emotional maturity. Getting out of a toxic relationship, therefore, is not just a social decision, it is a spiritual awakening. It is the realization that your peace is sacred. It is the understanding that love should elevate your consciousness, not shrink it. It is the courage to choose long-term soul growth over short-term emotional comfort. And as you begin strengthening that inner connection, reclaiming your dignity, observing your patterns, and aligning with a higher vibration, something remarkable begins to happen inside you, and that inner shift becomes the foundation for the next stage of your transformation. Before you can truly walk away from a toxic relationship, you must walk back into yourself. That was the deeper teaching of Paramahansa Yogananda. He explained that attachment is not just emotional dependence on another person, it is forgetfulness of our own divine completeness. When you believe someone else is the source of your worth, your safety, or your happiness, you unconsciously hand them spiritual authority over your life. And when that person is unhealthy, manipulative, or emotionally unavailable, your soul begins to shrink in order to survive. In part 1, we explored awareness, courage, and detachment. Now we go deeper into the inner rebuilding that must happen after clarity arrives. Because leaving physically is not the same as leaving energetically. Many people walk out of toxic relationships, yet carry the emotional imprint for years. They replay conversations, they fantasize about closure, they stalk social media, they secretly hope the person will change. This lingering attachment is not weakness, it is unhealed emotional memory. Yogananda taught that the mind forms grooves, like deep patterns in soft earth. The more we think a thought, the deeper the groove becomes. If you have spent years thinking, "I need them," that groove will not disappear overnight. It must be consciously redirected. This is where spiritual discipline becomes powerful. Not rigid religion, not suppression, but daily inner communion. When you meditate, pray, journal, or sit in silence, you are slowly retraining your nervous system. You are teaching your body that safety does not come from another person's approval. It comes from alignment with your higher self. And this is practical. When the urge to text them arises, instead of acting impulsively, pause. Take a slow breath. Feel the craving in your body. Do not judge it, just observe it. Yogananda emphasized the power of calm self-observation. He said that when you calmly witness your emotions, they lose their tyranny over you. Toxic relationships often create trauma bonds, intense highs and devastating lows. Apologies followed by repetition. Affection followed by withdrawal. Your brain becomes addicted to unpredictability. But divine love does not operate through chaos. Real love is steady. It is respectful. It does not make you feel small. When you internalize this spiritually, you begin to recognize that walking away is not rejection. It is alignment. You are choosing harmony over drama, peace over intensity, self-respect over temporary validation. Another important teaching Yogananda shared was about self-mastery. He believed that every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen the will. Toxic relationships test your willpower more than almost anything else. They pull at your emotions, they trigger childhood wounds, they activate fear of abandonment. But each time you choose not to return to what harms you, you strengthen your spiritual backbone. You are literally building inner muscle, and that strength carries into every area of your life. You must also forgive, not to excuse their behavior, but to free your own energy. Holding resentment ties you to them just as strongly as longing does. Forgiveness is not saying, "What you did was okay." It is saying, "I released this from my nervous system." When you forgive, you cut the energetic cord. You stop feeding the story. You stop replaying the injury as your identity. Yogananda taught that bitterness blocks the flow of divine joy. And joy is your natural state. There is also a phase of loneliness that many people fear. When the noise of conflict is gone, silence can feel heavy. You may question your decision. You may romanticize the past. This is normal, but sit through it. Loneliness is not emptiness. It is space being cleared. And in that space, you rediscover who you were before you began shrinking yourself to fit someone else's emotional limitations. Use this season intentionally. Rebuild routines that nourish you. Spend time in nature. Move your body. Read uplifting material. Surround yourself with emotionally healthy people. Yogananda often spoke about the influence of company. He said your environment either strengthens or weakens your consciousness. If you stay around negativity, your vibration lowers. If you seek uplifting energy, your strength increases. So be selective. Protect your inner climate. Most importantly, rebuild your relationship with yourself. Ask, what did I ignore? What red flags did I minimize? Where did I silence my intuition? This is not self-blame. It is self-education. Every painful relationship carries a lesson about boundaries, self-worth, and discernment. When you extract the lesson, the suffering becomes wisdom instead of trauma. And slowly, something remarkable happens. You stop craving the person. You stop checking your phone. You stop rehearsing arguments in your head. Your sleep improves. Your breathing feels lighter. You feel present again. That is the soul returning to itself. That is your energy coming back home. The goal is not to become cold or guarded. It is to become conscious, to love without losing yourself, to give without abandoning your boundaries, to connect without attaching your identity to another human being. Yogananda's vision of love was divine partnership, two whole individuals walking side by side, not two broken people leaning on each other for survival. When you truly internalize that you are already complete, toxic dynamics lose their appeal. You no longer chase intensity. You seek peace. You no longer fear being alone. You value your alignment more than attention. And from that place of inner stability, the kind of relationship you attract begins to change. Because your consciousness has changed. If this message touched something real inside you, don't ignore that feeling. The teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda are not just spiritual philosophy. They are practical tools for emotional freedom and inner strength. You deserve relationships that honor your soul, not ones that drain it. If this video helped you see your situation more clearly, take a moment to like it, share it with someone who might need this message, and subscribe for more deep spiritual insights that actually transform your life. And in the comments, tell me this: what is one boundary you are ready to set starting today? Your healing begins with one courageous decision.